Hey guys, welcome. So primocanes, floracanes, they can be very confusing, especially if you're new to growing brambling vines, canes. I know the first couple years I was really confused. Did a little research, practice. That's the best thing you can do. So practice, practice. Now I feel fairly comfortable with my blackberries and raspberries, but I can always learn more. And that's what I did this early fall. It is mid-October. I just pruned my blackberries. And so you're going to come along and we're going to talk about it. And hopefully, I can share a little bit of what I have learned through trial and error with my blackberry canes. All right, guys, we're going to preemptively take care of these blackberries now instead of waiting until late winter when I normally prune my blackberries. What I'm going to focus on today is removing canes that produced this year that have already had fruiting. Also, any spent, dead, brown, unviable canes. And that way, we will be ahead of the game come next spring and summer, which will be great. I'm also going to be weeding, edging, mulching, and maybe transplanting some coral bells over here. We will not be fertilizing right now. We would just be trimming up and taking cuttings because I have some family members who would like some blackberry canes, and I think they will root over winter. I've done it before, so I want to try again. I've got a container right here all ready for those cuttings. So good length to keep your canes is about 4 to 5 feet tall. So I definitely have a lot to take off, and I will be using the excess length from those cuts to make my cuttings to give away. This looks like a good place to start. So I'm just going to find a section above a leaf node, cut there, remove about 2 or 3 leaf node sets that will go under the soil level, and this part here will be sticking out of the soil. So we'll have roots coming out all along here. And we have our first cutting. I took off all the leaves on the lower section here. Everywhere there was a leaf node joint, we will get some roots. I'm going to stick it down in the soil, just like that. And I will add probably 10, 12 more. Here is an example of a cane I can take all the way down to the ground because it is spent. It had blackberries this summer. And you can see it's brown, very, very brown. And if we follow it right there down to here, this is going to need to get cut all the way down at the base. And this is a spent cane. It's already fruited, and so we need to remove it. Now, an example of a new cane for this summer. It was a new cane, a new growth. This summer is this big cane coming out right there. We can follow it. It's a nice, bright, vibrant green. I've looped it up and attached it, tethered it to my trellis, and this will produce fruit next year. This will produce our fruit next summer. It did not have flowers this year. All it did was grow this year. And so we're going to leave it. It's going to give us our fruit next summer. I'm going to trellis it up and support it and be ahead of the game for next spring. Got some pretty cool trellising going on over there. I'm making some cuts. Now I wanted to show you one more example of looking for spent canes. You can see these fruited. You can see where the berries would have been, the ones I didn't pick or the birds didn't eat. You can see a visible difference in the color of the canes versus new growth for next year. It's so vibrant, so green right now. Honestly, I think this might be my new favorite time of year to prune my blackberries. Let's take a pause and go back in time. I actually have some video clips of me pruning late winter. That's when I normally do it. It's a little trickier. You can't really see as well as right now. I think there's a much better distinction between the cane colors if you wait. So let's go have a peek. Move way back in time. In the past, I would prune my blackberry canes late winter, but as you can see, 2025, I waited until the very first day of spring. My forsythia is in full bloom, looking beautiful. We've already got some new growth for the year starting on these canes. So when I prune my blackberries, and these are 5-year old, 5+ year old plants, I look for 3 colors when it is late winter. Usually there is no new green flushing out of leaves. So I'm looking at 3 colors in winter. I'm looking for brown. I cut all brown completely out. If I see red, that's going to be my floracane for the year that's going to produce fruit. And if I see green growth, which this might be a little bit early in the year to see a lot of the green, that's going to be the primocanes for the year that are not going to produce fruit. They will the next year, but they're very important for this whole cycle so that you have a continuous supply of fruits and vines. And I'm just kind of zooming in and out here on some of the different colors we're looking at. You can definitely see some red, some brown, some green, and that's how I do it in late winter. Now that I'm pruning in the early fall, it's so much easier. We only have to worry with 2 colors, the green and the brown. So it's my new method. Really excited to just take care of the blackberries in the fall, early fall, and be done with it. Because it can be very confusing in winter when everything is looking brown, everything's kind of looking similar. And blackberries can be a little bit confusing. It's taken me a few years to get the hang of it. The first year I had blackberries, I pruned them all down to the ground. And so guess what? I had no fruit that year at all. That was when I really started researching and training myself on how to take care of my blackberries. And then after that, it was pretty smooth sailing, just to know which canes are going to be your first year, which one are second years. All right, guys, back to the future. So you can see by that video that winter, late winter, it is harder to tell what you're cutting, right? And in the winter, I focus on those 3 colors, but in late summer, fall, it's mid-October right now, I think this is the ideal time because I only have to worry with 2 different colors. My brown, spent wood, and the green, vibrant growth that'll produce next year. And here's an example of a cane that I cut. You can see it's completely brown. So much easier, so much faster. I'm done pruning these guys, and now they're ready. They can go into their winter dormancy. They're going to lose all their leaves, and then come spring, early spring, we'll start to see some action happening. But yeah, this was so quick. New favorite time to prune the blackberries. All right, I'm going to finish up this bed. I'll give you some updates or pictures along the way. You can see all of our cuttings. You can just fast forward to see the pictures of the final makeover. But this video mostly was just all about the blackberries. My blackberries are called Navajo. They're an upright, thornless variety. And they're pretty good. So now that we've taken care of pruning our blackberry canes, I'm going to work on this bed. We're actually going to keep all of the leaves that you see. These are leaves from last fall. I'm going to use those as mulch to insulate and kind of weed prevention and mulching around my blackberry plants. I'm also edging, bringing that bed out just a little bit more. I'm using some cardboard in the front borders where there were more weeds, less weeds in the back, but I still kind of moved all of the leaves, weeded, and then put them back nice and even, wetted them down, wetting my cardboard, and then we're going to put mulch probably in the front, maybe 2 feet of this bed, just to kind of let it be more established and a pop of color. I definitely am not going to mulch the whole bed just because the leaves are going to work for me. They're free, and if I had to go buy enough mulch for all of my beds, I definitely would not be able to afford to do it. So we can make our leaves work for us. Now, right in this section here, I've had a copperhead before. So that is one reason I've kept the black mulch in the years past, so I could see more easily the copperheads. But after time, all of that mulch just fades and it all looks brown, and the leaves are going to start falling again. We're going to have a whole new set of leaves for 2025. So I just decided the leaves are fine. I'll just have to be super careful. And keeping it weed free helps too. Now what I'm doing over in this bed is I'm looking for some volunteer purple coneflowers because I am transferring some over to this bed in front of the tree. And I cleaned up all of the heuchera. I'm out of mulch, but everything is looking so much better. Blackberries are ready to go into winter and come out of dormancy late spring. You can see I only used the mulch in the front part where I had trouble with weeds in my cardboard method. I'm just using leaves in the back as mulch. I did remove it, weed, and then put it back in a nice even layer. Relocated some coneflowers. I'm going to relocate some more columbine, and heuchera or coral bells will also go into this area to fill it out. I will finish mulching when I get some more mulch. And I've got a bin of the blackberry vines for cuttings and a bin of forsythia cuttings. 2 were previously rooted and they look great. I should pot them up, but we're just going to let them spend the winter in that one pot. I will put some more soil in. Got some ferns and heuchera in these 2 containers, and I think everything's looking better. So come back for the next garden tour. I think this area will be completed by then, and it may look really nice. All right, guys, hope you're having a great gardening week. Hope the blackberry information helped. That's just my easy way to do it, take care of things. And now that I am pruning in mid-October, early fall, I feel like this is a much easier method for me. Talk to you soon. Bye.